Dual line trading, taking a look at SPY and going over the recap for the day, as well as the live analysis in Discord and the trades taken. So, first thing in the morning, in the pre market brief for members, I posted I was watching if we remained within the yellow selling algorithm that was controlled, as well as this strong purple buying algorithm if we wanted to continue up that we have been within. Or if we did not, we could start forming the inverse cup and handle and the head and shoulder, and that is what we ended up doing. So before forming this inverse cup and handle, as well as the head and shoulder right here, we actually held above 530 and got a short move higher right here in the morning. We had a slight gap up, and we were watching for some sort of controlled selling here on the 1 minute, which I will go over. And a trade that I took. Now we moved up higher before we started seeing some tapering, right? And we started to get this move down right here. So with the tapering up here, as we can see, that is because we are breaking out of this stronger purple buying algorithm that we had been continuing within. So this was showing some signs of weakness right here. However, we needed to wait for confirmation that we were no longer in this controlled yellow selling algorithm right here. And that is when we started to form the head and shoulder as well as the inverse cup right here. So we have this head and shoulder starting to form at this 530.60 level. And then we have another one right here starting to form, giving us this inverse cup. We can see the handle starts to form here with this red tapering buying algorithm, and we get the move down. Now, for tomorrow, before we look at this orange and this yellow and the possibilities, what we're going to watch, I'm going to go to the 1 minute now and look at the entries we took in the Discord and the live analysis. Now, on the 1 minute chart, to start the day, I took my first trade right here at 9:48, and this ended up being a loss to start the day. I was stopped out on this candle right here when it went down to this, so I bought in right here, and my stop was going to be below this shoulder right here. I was watching for this inverse head and shoulder right here with this tapering yellow algorithm that we see, as well as the green, and the light blue right here was controlled selling. We had seen it right here, and so I was looking for a move higher, and I did not get that. I got stopped out on it, and that's okay. Had a tight stop, and then I ended up getting in some puts. So the reason I entered puts is because we were starting to form a resistance at this 530.20 level, and after this stopped me out right here, we formed this little inverse cup, this sort of handle right here, and then with this head and shoulder, I entered to see if we continued that inverse cup, and that's what we did. We had this nice move down, and I sold my position all right here except for my runners because I was still watching this green controlled selling that we see here, and they ended up getting stopped out right here on this candle. Now, after being stopped out for those puts that I took, I was still waiting on that inverse head and shoulder off of the controlled selling, and we had formed right here. So you see this shoulder at that level, and then we held back above this red 530.20, and that is when I bought on this bottom wick right here. This retest of that level, I took an entry, and from there, I protected my position here, bought in, and then I started buying more on this controlled selling again, right? Slowly adding in, protecting on some of the pops, buying in again because we were still within this controlled selling. And then you see the yellow right here starting to come in as well. And we get the move higher. Once again, this green algorithm right here with the yellow, along with those two controlled selling algorithms, we had this blue algorithm right here that was able to control the buying and take us up higher several times today, as we see right here. So if you identified that, you would have been able to see, right, when it was moving up. Up here, I explained I was all out of my runners and I no longer had any positions because I was now looking for some sort of pullback, possibly if we wanted to form a head and shoulder, and break back down below these levels right here that we had liquidity if we wanted to go down. However, I explained if the controlled selling did continue, that we would be able to move higher, but it did not. And instead, you see it starting to taper right here, and it breaks down, giving this head and shoulder for this inverse cup as well. However, right here we lacked a handle, which is why no entry from me, because I would have liked to see that cup continuing steeper and going down like that more aggressively. And then for the upside, would have liked to see this head form for the inverse head and shoulder, and then this shoulder right here back above that 531.34 level, and then possibly another handle like this and giving us that cup and handle. But we continued to break down. You can see we kept forming like that and just could never get back above. After we failed to form this shoulder right here and break out higher, I explained that we were starting to form a possible head and shoulder, and this pink level right here was going to be important to watch if we could form something like that. And what you have is this shoulder, shoulder, and eventually this is still giving us that flag. I buy in again right here, and this was that great entry. So I entered a little bit early right here, was expecting this move to go down like that and then head lower, as I explained a minute ago, with a more aggressive sell off. But it was not, and it took just a bit of time until it was able to form this. And then I added more and got this great move down, and I sold most of my position right here. What I also posted is we had a wedge right here. If you can see this wedge forming, and price was getting ready to do that. After that did go down like that, I added some more off of this shoulder for the pink as I was watching, got another sell down here, and then once again we have another head and shoulder off of that pink, and I take it for the move down as we complete this small inverse cup, but we lack a handle right here to go lower, and I get stopped out of my position right here. After taking this last trade right here, I ended up calling it a day. I took puts on this candle and this candle as well to see if we were starting to form that cup right here, and then the handle possibly I was maybe looking for. However, we started to form this inverse head and shoulder, and right above this level I was going to stop out, and on this candle that is where my stop was, and I called it a day. So it was a decent day, but I was just no longer interested in trading this 1.5 point whiplash. It did end up breaking down, however I did not trade it. I was just charting it. As you can see, we start to taper right here with this green and this purple. You could have taken this head and shoulder right there for an awesome move down at that level I was looking for right here. Before going over what I'm watching for tomorrow, on the 30-minute, we were looking for this handle today if it was starting to form right here as I posted, or if it skipped the handle and started to form a shoulder below that 529.09. Now going into tomorrow, we are going to be watching if this inverse cup is going to continue to close at this level right here, this 528, if we want to close that, and then maybe we retrace to this 529.09, and then we can come down like this, again forming with this same algorithm. So if we want to move down, seeing it like that, closing it at this level again, and then so on until it maybe possibly we get that 525 retest as well as this 5-day moving average before either having a bounce back up and grabbing the liquidity right here, or we continue going down. You need to be watching this orange controlled selling algorithm right here. if we are able to find maybe one of these spots right here and then start going back up, maybe lower, or if we break out of this orange and we start closing that sooner, that is possible. However, if we start to see this blue algorithm right here and price is forming a handle after we close this cup at this 525 level right here, and we want to maybe see some form of retracement, and then you see that grab within this blue tapering algorithm as well as the yellow and this orange. Now on the daily chart, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, we were at the top of the Bollinger Band. Yesterday, we were at it again today, and after testing the top of the Bollinger Band, we usually test the 5-day, and from there, we can move back up. So we get this retest and move higher, testing this upper Bollinger as long as they continue up together. A retest is possible, and we can start getting this uptrend like that if we would like, or if the trend changes, we would need to see this get below that 5-day moving average right here, and then maybe grab this liquidity at 522 if we want to dump again. So we've been seeing this cup forming on the daily right here. Now, what can form is if we want to dump eventually, we have this liquidity here. We have all of this down here, here, and if we want to eventually, we can do that like this, closing maybe an inverse cup over time and getting that larger pullback everyone's been waiting on. But for now, we are just still in the trend that we are, and we need to watch the 5-day and upper Bollinger as well as this 20. If it starts to base, then maybe we look for lower than the 5-day and a retest of that right there. Thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see members in the morning. Thank you.